turn on computer. Okay, so thank you. And so let me introduce Brandon Burbank.
Oh, okay. Hello, everyone. All right, my name is Brandon Burbank, and I'm very excited to be here. I'm also on Instagram Live right now, and thank you so much, Lita, for the wonderful introduction, and thank you so much, everybody on Toastmasters, tuning in and having this opportunity to share with you about mental health, as well as some of the mentorship and the educational background that's helped provide value to my endeavors in life and has helped me become the best version of myself in present day. Now, you might be wondering, what does it take to become successful when faced with mental health struggles or a condition like bipolar disorder? Well, that's a great question because I'm here to solve that problem for you right now by giving you some insight, some clarity, some direction, and I guess to speak more frankly, we're all here today with a story to tell. Mine just so happens to be influenced by some major game changers that have blessed me with the right vision and skill set to become more successful and change the world one day at a time. To start with, this goes back to my middle school days in Colshan Middle School, where Mr. Wooding was an avid teacher for my class in Avid, and he made a huge impact on my life because of his positivity, his energy that was always bringing out the best in me, and just emphasizing and really encouraging us as students to become the best version of ourselves in the classroom. And some examples that he provided with us, and I remember in some of his class lectures included some of his talks on how basically Mr. Wooding would say, if you have a question, go to the teacher and ask them so many different times until you eventually get your answers. You get your answers already completed so that you can have a better understanding of what you need to accomplish. And Mr. Wooding was just always such a positive person, and he was always so uplifting for everyone in the classroom setting. So that was a huge he rubbed off a lot of positive energies and left me with a lot of inspiration to continue to start grinding and staying focused on my goals as I continue to grow up and get older in life. So that's Mr. Wooding. Another really, really, really important person that was influential in my life, even now till this day, Ward Nelson. Ward is also in attendance for tonight's speech presentation. And I met Ward through my first job at Hagen Grocery Store in Bellingham, Washington. And this was a wonderful experience because he taught me a lot of life lessons as a mentor, as a coworker, as well as a mentor as well, and doing a lot of jobs within his house and helping him with a lot of difficult but basic projects that helped me learn life lessons and learning how to stay focused. And one of the big lessons that he taught me, when I remember we were doing some sheetrocking and we were re-sculpting his whole patio in the back of his house. And one of the things that he taught me was a job done right is a job well done. And that's just something that has really stuck with me even till this day. I remember when things get hard and things get difficult in life, and it seems to be you're going all around from different sorts. It's like, okay, a job done right is a job well done. And I go back to that consistently because it helps remind me that whether I'm doing my best effort or not, I'm trying to do the best I can. And once you get the job done right, then it's considered a excellent job, a job well done. So that's just a huge development, the help that Ward has. Okay, we're 4 minutes in. That Ward has helped me with my personal development and my journey in life. And so moving on to another really influential person in my life who I have the great pleasure of talking with, who's in attendance in tonight's presentation, Matt McGaha. Matt McGaha is a mental health advocate and contributor to the book Come Back to Success that I published last April on Amazon. Here's the book as well in case you guys haven't checked it out. It's on Amazon as well. And he is a big reason why I'm still pushing towards making Come Back to Success become more successful. I'll leave it at that because Matt's going to share some of his personal journey in a little bit. But to go in more into depth about my journey with battling with bipolar disorder and mental health problems, it's just a matter of how you gain clarity, how you gain perspective, and basically to go into detail, some of my struggles with bipolar disorder and mental health. It started back with my post-study abroad trip, and my mental health decline, pushing me to look inwardly instead of outwardly to grow and personally develop myself. Now, my journey about my irregular patterns of behavior that comes in relation to the diagnosis of the mood disorder of bipolar disorder really, uh, I was looking for ways to escape from my body, perspective, and lack of self-worth. In a nutshell, the self-worth part is the driving motivator for why I was seemed to be acting specific ways that was behaviorally dysfunctional. And I think that as I ponder my past and my struggles with mental health, it's all clicking because it trust me, you guys, it goes full circle in life when you have struggles, trials and tribulations, depression, anxiety, anything else related to that. It's possible to make a comeback to success. I'm the living and breathing version of that, and showing to myself and to my community and with the mental health community that it is possible. People like Matt here tuned into this audience today, people like Ward Nelson who've showed consistent accountability and consistent just dedication towards helping out the communities and building us up, especially in our youth communities, because our youth is our future posterity. So by being able to have influential people like Mr. Wooding, Ward Nelson, et cetera, people who've impacted our youth are inspiring others to become the best version of themselves, who will help carry and progress our nation, our world, and just help our communities build each other up rather than expanding us and separating us from our goals in life. We have become we're at a great place in this time frame because I personally believe that I've created so much in my life that has helped me grow and become the best version of myself. And I guess the problem that I had to come to the realization that I am me and I will never not be me. And that's the same thing for everybody out there who has that self-worth, self-esteem issue, because there's a lot of people out there in this world that can relate to that. And whether you have a mental illness or not. And I speak for the people that are dealing with depression, anxiety, I've never been addicted to alcohol or drugs, but there's people out there that use those types of things for coping mechanisms to help with their stress, their anxieties, and that's just it's a hard reality. But there's other outlets that can help change and spark growth. Okay. And then continuing on, some of the struggles with my mental health, encountering the mental health system that included the psych ward in Bellingham, Washington, and multiple times of going through multiple hospitalizations, the halfway house in Bellingham, Washington, the mental health treatment center in Atlanta, Georgia, that helped me grow and become the best version of myself, educate myself more on my condition so I can become more successful. All those things really were foundation works for building success, but they really tested me to the max. And I had to learn how to grow and find out what I was really made of. And I knew deep down back in 2015, when I was studying abroad and paying for all the trip all by myself without debt, graduating with an associate's degree without any debt, all those things are just so pivotal, and it's living proof that you can be successful when you have struggles in life. And my speech is a testimony of my faith, commitment, relentless commitment for a better tomorrow. So basically, it's also important to think about, because my struggles with the mental health system that I'm a product of because of my environment and being immersed into that environment, and in so many different ways, and how I was learned how to just learn how to navigate through it, and but still find success, find clarity, and building comeback to success, which is my own business that I'm currently cultivating to help inspire and motivate others, that will also pay me to live and be successful and strive for a better tomorrow. But as I continue on, my struggles with the mental health system and how it impacted my life were hard to swallow, but it is possible to find peace of mind and clarity through the madness. The mental health system impacted me and the hospitalizations in an impactful and real way. These experiences challenged me to look internally for the answers, to find my true purpose and develop a stronger self-esteem and belief in myself. So you might be wondering, okay, what's in it for me now? What's this whole speech going to help provide value for me? Well, okay, here's the call to action. For those who are in need of direction and a purpose when faced with mental health struggles, what is a powerful yet unique way to fight your battles internally so that you can make a comeback to success? My answer is this: find the purpose. What's your purpose? Once you understand what your purpose is, relentlessly commit yourself to that. A big reason why people succeed in life is because they use their emotional energy to fuel them to make decisions when the circumstances present themselves. When they do, you might not think you're ready. That is when you have to try and give it your all. Like word says, the job done right is the job well done. And finding the purpose that is motivating you. A big reason why people succeed in life is because they use their emotional energy, which is the strongest form of energy that we have within ourselves as human beings, and use those emotional energies to fuel them to make decisions. And so as a result, it is crucial that you use this emotional energy that will help you take you beyond your further limitations that you believe that are there, yet they're actually irrelevant. So I go full circle right now by talking about how the people that have helped build me up, Mr. Wooding, Joe Wooding, and Ward Nelson, who, just to name a few, who have contributed consistently and consistently come back, help me develop my comeback to success in my journey so that I can help inspire and motivate other people who've had similar struggles with life, with their mental health, and that they can have a commitment to themselves for a better tomorrow. And so now, without further ado, I want to invite a friend and a mental health advocate, Matt Magaha, to share a brief bit about his journey with mental health. Matt?
Hi, thanks, Brandon. My name is Matt. I'm from Bellingham, Washington. I'm a mental health advocate and a student. I find my purpose in life, I could start there, through my spirituality is very important to me, and the bonds that I have with family, friends, and my fiance, and just being there for them the best I can. So I'll share with you a little journey. I live with bipolar disorder as well. So I'll share with you a little journey that I have in my mental health in my life, and some ways that I've worked to come back to success as well. As a kid, I was up till about the age of sixth grade. I was an overachiever, I guess you could say. Things came pretty easily to me. I was a part of select soccer and select basketball. I got my black belt at the age of 13. And I just say those things because life came easy, like I was a overachiever, like I said, and involved in a lot of things growing up. And then when I got about to the age 12, I believe, about sixth grade, my family and friends had noticed that I was having these emotional highs, which turned out to be bipolar mania, and then these low lows where I just was very depressed, didn't want to talk to anyone, was just avoidant of social situations. So I ended up being able to be sent to a doctor, to a physician, and I got diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And from there, I remember college was very important to me, getting into a good school. And so I ended up taking the SAT, having had tried different meds at the time, wasn't in my right sense of mind. And that was a big deal to me. I ended up barely graduating high school, dealing with the bipolar disorder that had struck, and the highs and lows, and definitely the trying of different medications. So, and then also during that time, a part of my story that's different is I deal with a mental health disorder, but I also deal with substance abuse. So I had begun being curious about partying and things like that, you know, probably at about the age 16, 17. And so that kind of derailed me a little bit from being as successful as I wanted to in high school. So then after that, I ended up going to a four-year college in Washington State, and you know, I still was partying and going out and doing at this point substances to excess, and so uh, I ended up barely getting through that and having a brush with the law because of my substance abuse, because of drugs. And at that point, I had to come home at my third year of college when I was about 21. And so from that point, life got better because I got my substance abuse issue straightened out for the time being. I was able to get into a two-year college and I graduated with my associate's degree at the time. That was about 8 or 9 years ago, coming now. So that was good. I was clean and doing well for myself. And then, throughout my 20s, I'll say that I'm 35 now, just to flash forward for a minute. But throughout my 20s, I'll share on that and try not to go too far into this. But from my 20s, I had, hospitalizations because of the bipolar disorder, and drugs and alcohol weren't helping that. And, times where I did well and then times where I struggled. And so jumping forward, I'm 35. At 32, I had a situation with a family member. Uh, it wasn't physical, but I ended up causing some property damage, and I went to jail. And so I'd been to jail before, but this was my last. Just to share my story, this was my last thing. It couldn't get any worse than this. And so I graduated in a court program that was called Mental Health Court in Whatcom County. It was a really great program. I was a part of that and have been able to stay clean and sober and on the right meds. So I do, like I said, I deal with the co-occurring both issues, and coming on 4 years now. And so that's just a huge blessing. And Brandon's been a very supportive friend in that, as well as some other people and family in my life. I met Brandon. He referred me to a friend having to do with indoor soccer. I had met him, and then I told him that we struck up a conversation on the Sounders, the Seattle Sounders, the team here in Seattle, or in Seattle, right, in Seattle. And so yeah, we were talking about soccer, and he referred me to an indoor soccer team where I played for a session. So that was a lot of fun. It was a very big deal to me being asked to be a part of Brandon's book. I'm supportive of him in many ways and what he's accomplishing and he's already accomplished. And it's just great being a peer and being there in our friendship. So he interviews me as part of the book, and I have a couple pages in there where I answer some personal questions as well as some thoughtful and heartfelt questions. So that's a brief introduction on me, a little bit of my story. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me, Brandon, and thanks you guys for listening. That's all.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you so much, Matt. And so as I wrap up this presentation tonight, the key takeaways that I want to give everyone here tonight in this presentation, as well as Instagram Live, is you can be successful. You can do it, but you have to have the right support team, the right mentorship, the right leadership that's influencing you and helping drive you. Your self-esteem my self-esteem was challenged, tested countless numbers of days, months, years when things were difficult, when I didn't know what was going on with myself, with my life. Everything seemed to be so uncertain. Yet there's hope. There's beauty behind the madness. There's beauty, folks. I can tell you right now. I speak from my truth to you. And then another thing is just in my youth, having a wonderful, wonderful childhood and a wonderful opportunity to just gain perspective from those who want to see others succeed, especially when it comes to our youth, because those are the people who will become our next influencers, our future generation. And how we treat our youth is something that is valuable and very necessary to understand and to think about. And people like Ward Nelson, like Joe Wooding, who will countlessly back themselves up and support others, is something that's really noteworthy. And I want to say again, thank you, Matt, for sharing your perspective and your story on mental health. And just before I wrap up, though, for the audience as well as on Instagram Live, Visualize for 15 seconds what your next step in life is to make a comeback to success.
Is that the end? Okay.
Okay. So the purpose of this exercise is to get focused around using imagination and finding what works best for your mental health. That's it. Thanks, and feel free to reach out if you have any further questions or comments about this presentation, my business Comeback to Success. And you can always feel free to reach out to me via social media, which is Brandon Burbank on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And finally, I have a website, professionally developed website that is under development and is going to be it's going to be completed soon. So I will definitely keep you all in the loop around that. Thank you so much and have a great night and stay blessed.
Okay, excellent. I have an explanation. I
Hey,
guess I
Lita,
can
you stop
serve.
the recording?
Can you hear me?
Lita, can you stop the recording?
Yes, we can.
Okay. As an apology and also as an explanation to our visitors,